All right, let's continue here. Dennis is with us in Concord. Dennis, you're on Free Talk Live.
Howdy, guys.
Hey.
So I've got a libertarian conundrum. I kind of thought I would take this ethical issue to the group, and maybe you guys can help give me some direction as to where to go.
We will give you some opinions. Ultimately, it's up to you to make your mind up, but please share.
So, I think a lot of times for libertarians, we tend to see everything kind of as very black and white, very easy. Oh, just take the pro-liberty angle, and if there's no aggression, then it's simple.
Liberty's the answer. What's the question?
Yeah, in the real world, when you are actually in the seat of power, as it were, if you're making the decision, it's not always so cut and dry. So we have a situation. One of the things I love about New Hampshire, is the way that garbage pickup is done or not done. And, the fact that many, many, many towns in New Hampshire, there is no municipal corporation that picks up your garbage. It's, you take the garbage to the dump, or you contract with one of a number of different individuals, private companies, or just private people who will take your garbage to the dump for you.
Yeah, and people can't believe when we talk about this oftentimes. People can't believe, you're kidding me.
I was surprised.
The garbage isn't picked up by the government?
When I moved here, I was surprised by it.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing. I love that about New Hampshire. And we have an issue in my town right now that's been going on for a couple of years with trash and trash disposal, and what do we do about it and how do we work it? And we implemented what's called the pay by bag program that I was actually pretty involved with getting that into place. The idea being that if you're going to take municipal waste from your household and dump it into the dump that is owned and managed by the town, then you had to pay for that waste by buying a special garbage bag. Instead of having everyone pay a flat rate out of your taxes to pay for it, it turned into a user fee, more like a normal company. So like only if you use the service do you pay for it. And a lot of people love the green bags because it supposedly encourages recycling. I love the green bags because it encouraged a free market and got the government out of a monopoly in anything to do with trash in this town. And that was just so beautiful and so wonderful. A lot of people hate it because they felt like, oh, you're forcing me to buy this green bag, which is the opposite of what happened. We weren't forcing you to buy a green bag. We gave you the option to either pay for the trash that you put away here or put your trash somewhere else and don't pay us anything. It was, however, so I'm on this little committee that is trying to determine what to do about, long-term, how do we handle trash in the town? What are the options? Explore every option. And today we met with a rep from a big waste hauling, waste manage. It wasn't the company Waste Management, but a waste management company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. If we were to implement a particular solution that they have, and they've got a bunch of, they've got a menu of options, but there's one option that they have that by and large, for the 80+% of people in town that do dump their trash in the municipal dump.
Where do the other 15% dump their trash?
They have it contracted out to like a private hauler that hauls it somewhere way out farther away. Yeah.
Okay.
But if we went with this plan, the 85% of the town would pay like less than a third of what they do now for getting rid of their trash. Much reduced rate. And on top of that, they have every beautiful thing that you can imagine. So you can do single stream recycling. Just if it's basically recyclable, you just throw it in this big blue bin and they will take care of recycling it for you, no problem. Whereas today, if you want to recycle in this town, you have to separate your tin from your aluminum, from your plastic, number one. And so not a lot of people recycle. And I am kind of just because I'm a libertarian doesn't mean that I'm not conscious of our environment.
Dennis, I'm not real clear. Is this company proposing to take over operation of the landfill? What's their proposal exactly?
This would probably be the transfer station, right?
Yeah, what they would propose to do is to pick up people's trash
from their
houses and take it somewhere else, not to our own transfer. Basically, we would have to sort of mothball our transfer station or use our transfer station just for big appliances, like if you're doing construction, demolition, or getting rid of your fridge.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that paint, but your basic trash, the 99% of the trash that you make, this company would take, but they can only do it at this super low rate if it's pretty much mandatory for everybody in town.
I figured that was where this was going. So
What do I do? What do I do?
Excellent question. Let's talk about it when we come back. Hang on, Dennis. We'll bring you back as well. Dennis calling from Concord. This is not a typical situation. Most places, there's always a monopoly government provider of trash. You don't have any choice, and the proposal is to take away the choice in Dennis's town. We're talking about garbage at the moment, and Dennis is on the line with us, calling from Concord, and he's on the Concord area. He's on some sort of committee in a town, I think, not actually Concord. But he's on some kind of garbage committee that's supposed to look at, the garbage situation and the options and, how can things be improved or something like that. And the proposal has been, as I understood it, we're going to bring Dennis back on to clarify, but the proposal from some trash company has been, we can make it so your customers in the area are paying a third of the cost of what they're currently paying to throw trash away here in the whatever town it is. But the only thing is you'd have to implement a government monopoly over garbage collection. And for our listeners that don't know, that can't even comprehend this, in New Hampshire, you get to choose in most places. Maybe there are some towns in New Hampshire where there is a monopoly. I don't know about that. But here in our very own Keene, New Hampshire, there is no monopoly on garbage pickup. The government does run the transfer station here in town, and I do believe they mandated that all garbage companies picking up in Keene take it to their transfer station. So there's sort of a monopoly in that way, in that if you are running a garbage company operating in Keene, they don't want you to go to another transfer station in a different town. But as an individual homeowner or renter, you have to decide who picks up your garbage. If anyone, you pick your own garbage up and take it out to the transfer station. You don't have to have a garbage company do it. Well, you live fairly close to it, so that helps you as well.
Indeed, but I do.
And you have a big truck. I
was taking it when I didn't have a big truck.
I pay somebody to do it. I got other things I'd rather do with my time than haul garbage out to the dump. When you get there, a lot of times there's a long line, and you got to wait in the line to get in. And it's not worth my time. So, but I get to make that choice here in New Hampshire, and most of our listeners have never made that choice. In Florida, where I'm from originally, that was like a totally foreign concept to me. When I got up here to New Hampshire and I discovered that, wait a minute, the garbage isn't just being collected? What's happening here? You have to call a company to contract to get garbage? This is awesome. I thought it was really exciting. But Dennis, you're saying that the proposal is to take away that choice from people. But the pitch is that the cost would be lower. Sounds too good to be true to me, Dennis. But go ahead. Any other additional info you want to give us here before Derek J. or Mark renders a verdict on what should be done?
Well, it's definitely not too good to be true. I mean, I've walked through the numbers. They have a contract. I mean, it's not like a formal thing that I can sign today, but they're quoting us a number that if they're anywhere near that number, yeah, pretty much everybody in town is going to save 65 or more percent on what they're paying now to get rid of their trash. And as it turns out, I'm one of the 10% of people that would lose out in this because I live pretty close to the dump or to the transfer station. So I just drive my own garbage over there once every week or two, and it's no big deal for me. So I would pay a little bit more. But on the other hand,
you're currently paying per bag, right?
That's right. I would not have to pay the bags. So it would cost a little more for me, but it would barely be noticeable. And, there's that. And I'm just really looking forward to getting some input from you guys. I mean, it would be easy to say, oh, yes, if there's any coercion, it's wrong. Flip side, there is some coercion in that there is a tiny amount of tax money that goes into running the transfer station now. And just the fact that for the vast majority of the town, it would significantly reduce their cost.
It's also, they do all the recycling stuff. And I'd like to point out that when you don't have this ability for people to throw things away for free, and I'm using air quotes on free here, without any direct cost to them at that moment in time, what you'll often find is people are just dumping in places. Like
illegal dumping.
Yeah, we tried this at our town, and they'll just throw them at the gate of the transfer station when nobody's there.
But just to clarify, Dennis, what you're saying here, there's this company that's come to the town. They've said, all right, here's our pitch. We're going to take care of the whole town garbage collection. The cost will be down to a third, but we're going to take it to our transfer station or some other transfer station, not the town-run one. So you'll have to shut your transfer station basically down meaning that the people who are currently taking out their own garbage to the transfer station will no longer have that as an option, at least in the town. In theory, they could take it to a different town's transfer station, I guess, at that point. But they would be out of one option as far as where they could take their garbage. They would be inconvenienced if they didn't want to sign on to this. And then they would still have these garbage people stopping by their house on a regular basis, and they could throw things out. Like, everyone would be coerced into paying for this.
That's correct. Even if you didn't use the service, it would be a tax and you'd be paying for it anyways.
And this would be part of property taxes would be included in that?
That's right.
And is there absolutely no room for a negotiation where this can become an opt-in system because the one transfer station that's already functioning has to be shut down? Is that right?
I did ask this question, like, could you do it on a subscription basis?
Right.
And they're not really too happy with that. The way that
It means they have to
do
provide
it,
customer service, right? Like, if
well,
you...
no, their concern was they don't like the idea of running the current local guys out of business. And what they typically do is hire the current local guys into their company and say, well, you still have a job. Maybe you don't have your own business, but we're not going to suddenly take away your bread and butter. If you want to drive, you can keep your truck if it meets with our trucks specs, and
But it does mean they don't have to
and
provide the same level
they
of
kind of wanna
customer
not-
service, Dennis. I mean, if all they're servicing, if
That's a
their
good point.
client is the town, then they're only negotiating with the town, you and your cohorts on the committee. If the customers are upset, eventually I guess the contract could be dissolved with the town. But that's another question. How long does the contract run on this?
It depends. We can do like a 5 years up to a 10 years. And there's various price breaks based on this and that. But yeah.
Do they lock the price in as far as what it costs to collect for that time frame, or could they raise the price every year?
That's right.
They lock it in.
It's locked in, and because that factors in the price of gas, and because I'm one of these tinfoil hat wearing people that thinks that any moment now the economy is going to go to crap and inflation's going to go nuts. I love the idea of locking in a price for hauling stuff in big trucks for 10 years and letting them eat the cost of the inflation.
As long as they stay in business.
I believe I have the solution. Let's see whether or not.
So the question is, what should Dennis do as a liberty-loving person who generally likes the idea of getting government out of people's lives and
But
not
he's a
having
politician.
not having a monopoly?
Which means that he has to make some tough decisions sometimes,
Yep.
and I understand the decision.
Because people
he's
could
trying
be
to make.
mad at him for this if they have, if people are supporting the idea of paying a third of the cost of pickup of garbage. They could be upset if he says no to this.
Okay, so the person that's signing the contract here is the town of whatever, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Is it a municipality? Municipality, is it a town?
I don't even know the difference. It's the town of Hopkinton. Yeah.
Okay. So the town is liable for the amount, and then they're just going to charge you $7.50 or whatever it is per house, right?
Right.
You sign the contract, you get the service from this company, and you allow people in the town, if they wish, to opt out. You adjust the price based on how many people opt out of the service. So, if there's 600 households and 50 of them opt out, it bumps the price up to $8, which is still a 60% price cut or whatever. And you pass a little law or rule or whatever that says that anybody who's opted out, who gets caught putting garbage out for these people, first gets a warning, second gets a $100 fine, and then all other fines after that are $1,000. Because anybody who does that is an a-hole of the highest degree, in my opinion.
That's interesting because then you're bringing it to essentially a group negotiation for price. If there's an opt-out provision, then you're just negotiating on behalf of a group of people who want to get a quantity discount, basically. Because that's why it's costly to have multiple companies picking up garbage, is because they have to know which houses to pick up from. They don't have the efficiency of being able to hit every house on a route.
The only
This
place
is
you're
so
using
dirty because now Mark has introduced punishment into a situation where formerly there was none.
somebody who's stealing.
Well-
I'm introducing punishment for theft.
I know, but it's a new invented crime that didn't exist before.
I'm a
this
little
decision,
uncomfortable with
you know?
that. But Derek, what's your answer for Dennis?
Well, it's tough because for me, the no-brainer is save people money. Hey, if you could save people money, go and do it right now. That's the thing to do. But even if it means a little bit of compromise, but then I looked up, hey, can the cops or can the government go through your trash? And I found out the Supreme Court has ruled, yes, cops can seize and search abandoned property, which
So can anyone
trash
else.
is. Yeah, but when people have private trash collection, I think it's less likely that they would have authorities digging through their trash. When they have the government already picking it up, it's a lot more likely that sort of thing would happen.
This is New Hampshire, and most houses have have some wood burning device. If you want to keep something like papers, personal papers, out of the hands of others, because I can tell you my wife specifically sends me out to the outdoor wood boiler with credit cards type stuff, the information that she doesn't want going outward, and it's set on fire and turned into heat to heat my family's house.
But it also seems that like New Hampshire's an anomaly in that it has more freedom in this trash collection thing, and this waste management company isn't familiar with that, and they may adjust their business model when they see that, hey, this doesn't work for New Hampshire.
Yeah, like be the stick in the mud, the kind of the New Hampshire stick in the mud, right? Like, well, we like our freedom. If you can work with us, I like Mark's proposal on the side of, let people opt out. I'm not so sure about the whole enforcement thing. I mean, if somebody's stealing from the company, let the company bring, the police
a bunch
involved
of free
and have
riders,
them
that's what we need.
investigate theft. We already have laws for theft. Dennis, thanks for the call. Good luck with the decision.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.